Good morning, everybody. Hey, welcome to Friday. You got a week before Christmas. I hope you're getting ready. And the market, so I'm afraid Grinch is going to steal Christmas and the Santa Claus rally anyway. As we look at where we are today, yesterday was not a good day. Again, we'll talk about that and more when Dave joins us up next. Before we do, though, let's not forget that there is a lot of things in this world that you and we just cannot control. But when it comes to investing and it comes to your portfolio, you can control how much risk you have in your portfolio. But you need to know how much risk you have and how much risk you need to have to see if you have too much or not enough. Give us a call at 863-382-0037 to walk through a core retirement design. That we've got Dave coming up next.
5.7 Light FM, Carlos David Santana there along with Rob Thomas. It's morning, Dave. We're at 8:41 here. Time to check in on your money. And after a poopy day yesterday, we get close to a perfect storm for another poopy day today. Let's check in with Phillip Statler from Statler Financial Services and see if he's been tempted to jump out the window yet. Phillip, good morning. How are you?
Hey, doing okay today. You know, it is a week before Christmas weekend, so I think I got most of my shopping done, so I'm good there. I just have to wrap some presents.
Okay, I will admit that I had a whole lot of stuff shipped already up to my northern relatives. A whole lot of them got Florida fruit baskets this year. I'm assuming none of them are streaming right now and are spoiling the Christmas surprise, but I'm almost done myself too. Well, yesterday was kind of El Stinko, wasn't it? We ended up down 764 points on the Dow, an even 100 on the S&P, and 360 points down on the NASDAQ. NASDAQ won the race. We lost 3.25% on the tech-heavy NASDAQ exchange all in one day, and I'm looking at so many red numbers this morning. I'd really have to put on dark rose-colored glasses to feel good about today. How about you?
You know, it is. It is. I'm going to just say this. You know, I thought we had a Santa Claus rally going until, Mr. Fed there decided to be Grinch, and he's kind of taking the Santa Claus rally right away.
Boy, did they Grinch out on us. Yeah, the market was profoundly unimpressed, not necessarily by the 0.5% interest rate hike, but they were particularly unimpressed by what all the analysts were saying the interest rate hike was going to mean. And one of my tip sheets came out with a listing of junk as to what's happened after we've had an inflation-busting challenge ahead of us. Well, the three times we had to go down from something close to double-digit inflation were, by coincidence, 1948, which was the post-World War II recession, 1973-74, that was the year we had the recession that cost me my scholarship to Yale and made me go to a state school, so I remember that one vividly well. And then the legendary 1981 Volcker recession, all of which we fought big inflation, raised the interest rates through the roof. And anybody that doesn't remember any of those recessions, I'll just take it on faith that it was really El Stinko. So if anybody thinks that we're going to come out of this thing with a soft landing, maybe they need to worry about what they're smoking in their off hours, right?
Well, I just feel like at this point, because the interest rates, the hikes are really just barely starting to make an impact right now, that we have a lot further to go. And I just feel that we're going to see a major decline. And I don't know how we can avert going into a recession at this point, given what I see right now.
I mean, we got enough of the pipeline in order to cause that. And Volcker, I'm sorry, I'm getting him confused with another guy. Paulson was saying the other day at his press conference that job ain't done yet. We're going to keep whacking you guys with 2x4s until the inflation rate's down to 2%, and we still got quite a ways to go on that. So we've got investors in a foul humor. Then we start putting overnight events on. The Dow futures fell by like 400 points about 2 a.m. And the only thing I could think of that caused it was, number one, the Russians started bombing the crud out of Kyiv again, the worst thing they've done to Kyiv since the beginning of the conflict up there. The United Kingdom released their retail trade figures for November, and they were even worse than ours. They expected growth, and they got a lot of shrinkage on that. And then the Senate managed to solve our debt ceiling problem by extending it one lousy week, which always impresses the crud out of Wall Street. And then we start out this morning, and you were telling me, I didn't notice this earlier, we've got, what, a quadruple or a triple witching hour and a bunch of futures coming up today, too?
Quad. There's a quad witching hour this Friday, so today. So that's adding even more pressure to the markets.
Because if you got futures expiring, you're probably betting on the soft side, which is going to sell the market down as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, we continue, and this is the second biggest one ever in terms of volume that's out there right now. So, you know, it's going to definitely have an impact on what's happening in the futures and in what happens in the market today.
So we put the whole mess together, and it's real hard to be optimistic today, especially looking at the pre-market red ink before any of those options end up getting settled up, which will probably put some downward pressure on us today as well. Is there any good news out there from the companies that are earning? I understand Darden, our friends from Olive Garden, had a pretty good quarter.
They did. Olive Garden had a better than expected profit. I think they made 10 or 11 cents a share earnings, or better than expected by that amount. Revenue top forecast. I guess the big thing to me is when you look at their KPIs, what they really measure, their same store sales forecasts were a lot better than expected. So that was some really good news. And then they didn't bump their top line number for 2023 earnings, but they raised their lower end of their guidance up some. So that was some good news for them. Now, Darden is still trading down this morning, about 0.4%, but I think based on what I see in the futures, it's going to be hard to be going up right now. That would be definitely swimming upstream compared to the rest of the futures.
Yeah, when you put out a good report, and my delayed quotes kind of indicate where the trend is, because my delayed quotes have them just a little bit above the zero mark and still in positive, and you're saying they've actually declined down to almost 0.5% down already.
Yeah, exactly.
Trend ain't pretty. Any other indications?
So we got a couple other companies that reported. Accenture reported, you know, they're the big worldwide consulting firm. They beat estimates on the top and bottom line as well. They even raised their revenue range, or I should say there was an issue with their revenue range. They did make some changes, but with the midpoint, and they blame the U.S. dollar. Strong dollar hurts them because of the worldwide revenue that they pull in. But that's got Accenture down about 2% this morning.
Oh, good. Well, there's good news. At the very least, the dollar's going down after our interest rate hike, so maybe that'll fix their problems.
Maybe that'll help, right?
Some good comes out of this anyway.
A couple more, I think that kind of still a mixed bag, but we had Winnebago reported they're still hot, man. They are still turning it out, making a profit. The revenue was above expectations. Now, obviously, their profit declined from where it was this time last year, but that's because of inflation and supply chain disruptions they've had. But Winnebago is actually up right now, 2.25%.
That's good to hear.
It is. It is. I've got it's still kind of a mixed bag across the board. But the other good news we had was from lost it here. Adobe really had a lot better than expected quarterly report. I think they beat by like 24 cents a share on earnings. Revenue was basically in line, though, with forecast. They issued an upbeat current quarter guidance, which, you know, traders like that. And they're getting a nice bump this morning, up 5.25%. And let's remember, it's not a cheap stock. It would open up right now at $346 a share.
Wow. You can make some serious money distributing malware, can't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Always been annoyed by Adobe payloading a bunch of freeware junk I don't want on my computer whenever I download something from them. Yeah. Resetting the table. Yeah, I got a couple of things that are coming up later on today that might do it. A bunch of global services PMI numbers. How's the world economy doing? Those are reports that are going to come out at 10, given what the British retail sales number did midnight last night. I got a sneaking hunch we aren't necessarily going to like it. Yesterday was pretty close to something I'd have to call a bloodbath. 45 minutes before it opens this morning. Have we tamped down the bleeding just a little bit, Phillip?
It's not as bad as yesterday, at least not yet, but it's still not going to be a good start to the day. When we got the Dow down over 1.1%, that's $371. We got the S&P 500 down 1%, that's about $39. And we got the NASDAQ 100 doing the best of all right now, only down 0.5%, which is about $61. So everything's getting squashed this morning, as well as silver down another 1/3%. Gold has managed to creep up 0.5%. It's trying, Dave, to get over 1,800. It's at $1,796 an ounce right now. Crude oil taking a tumble again, down 2.6%, $74.12. And let me just say, I saw some $2.93 a gallon gas this morning coming to work on a cash price.
$2.93?
Yeah.
Wowzers. Yeah, I'm due to fill up on Fridays, too. That's good news for a change. A dip actually helps me. Overseas markets, the Asian rim did not respond positively. Japan being more interdependent with us than the other nations, it was down almost 2% at the close this morning. Other mainland Chinese and Hong Kong markets also off, though. European markets are saying, oh, God, not again. They're all down over 1% halfway through their trading day. Want to fill up with gas? Phillip can tell you where the gas is cheaper, but he'll also tell you how to be able to secure a retirement plan that you actually have in mind and want to keep. How do I find you to get that?
Yeah, then give us a call at 863-382-0037 to talk to us about our core retirement design, where we'll help you design the retirement you always dreamed of. You can also go to our website at statlerfinancial.com. There's a link to our calendar there if you want to schedule a little phone call with us. We'll talk about your retirement. And then join us this weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. And what'd you tell me, 10:30 this morning on Saturday day?
10:30 on Saturday morning, because we got the Gator Bowl game starting about 11:30.
And then 10 o'clock Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk 730 and streaming on 95.3 FM.
And on the air on 95.3 too. And yeah, we do stream it too, by the way, guys. Pick up the News Talk 730 app, and you can even listen to us in Botswana on Saturday mornings as well, right?
That's right, man. You don't want to miss it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. You have a dynamite weekend, Phillip. Let's cross our fingers for a turnaround today, and we'll see you Monday, all right?
All right, buddy. Have a great one.
Thank you. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services, Phillip Statler.
Hey, folks, again, I want to thank you for joining us today. Merry Christmas. Hope you have a happy new year. And we'll be in and out over the next week, but looking forward to it. If you have any questions, any concerns, we're here. Give us a call, 863-382-0037 to schedule your core retirement analysis, or you can go to our website, statlerfinancial.com, and there's a link there to schedule a phone call. So all you have to do is that simple. Look forward to talking to you soon. Have a great weekend.